Here we go. And good morning, New Mexico. We are 99.9 FM, M810. It's time now for the Rusty Nut Show right here on 99.9 FM, M810 with your host, the Rusty Nut himself. He's right there. Those of you that have Facebook, those of you that have social media, you can check it out. He's right there in front of his shop, the Auto Angel. Gabriel Garcia, buenos dias. Good morning.
Good morning, Patricio. Thanks for having us live and loud and proud from here at the Auto Angel on Cerritos Road. I'm going to start walking into the building where we can get out of some of that wind noise. Appreciate you for being with us. We'll go ahead and mask up as we go inside, protecting all these COVID rules. There we go.
Very good.
Hello, Patricio.
¿Cómo está?
Good morning, sir. Muy loco, bien feo, pero nobody knows with his mask.
How was the weekend?
Good, good. How was yours?
It was excellent. I'm grateful for the snow that we received last night, and hopefully we got pounded up in the mountains.
I hope so, because that's where it matters the most.
One of these days, you're going to have to kind of go and we can plan it ahead, but show a picture of like Owen and, of course, you know.
You trying to break the internet or what?
No, just it's nice to put a face to people, you know what I mean? Because everybody, you know, when we first started off on radio, they wondered what I looked like, and they were surprised. I'll leave it at that.
Sasquatch is real.
Yeah, there you go. I almost broke the camera there on social media. So very good.
Okay, so we always like to start with an attitude of gratitude. Those of you who just tuned in, this is the Rusty Nut Show. The mission of this show is to teach listeners how to maintain the second largest investment in your life, being your automobile, second only to your home. So your house is more expensive. Your carruch is going to be the second most expensive investment that you make. So the purpose of the show is to teach you how to maintain it, or how to be empowered when you pay a professional to maintain it for you.
Or not to ruin it yourself, like some people like me, or to stay in front of the tow truck and not arriba del tow truck.
That's exactly what we're trying to make sure that you do. So let's go ahead, and we always like to have an attitude of gratitude. So thank you to KSWV Radio for putting this together and giving us a voice. So the Gonzalez family for all these years keeping KSWV Radio alive and giving back to the community by having shows like this. You know, I've been in this industry for over 32 years, and if it wasn't for the team here at the Auto Angel, I wouldn't have the freedom to be on the radio with you, Patricio, much less on the internet. So thank you to our team here at the Auto Angel. We really have a huge amount of gratitude for them. They're right currently, as I'm talking to you, they're under the hood, they're under the car, they're on the phones, they're on the computers, and I can't say enough about it. And then we like to do a red, white, and blue thank you, and this goes out to all the servicemen and women in uniform, to the enlisted, active duty, stateside, abroad, reservists, veterans, and most of all the families that support these brave men and women. That's huge. I read that first part because I don't want to leave out, you know, the active duty and the stateside and the abroad. But, you know, the families that support them, they're the ones at home worrying. They don't know. Sometimes they don't get to hear from them for a long time. And I just can't say enough about an empty seat at the kitchen table.
Well, we live in the greatest country ever because of our military men and women. And like you say, you know what? There's an empty seat. So their families, they put up with a bunch as well, having their loved ones gone. So we're very grateful to them as well. Our police officers, our first responders, our firefighters. And I want to make sure that we get in, thank our sponsor, Advanced Auto Parts there on Siler Road, baby. Oh, yeah.
That's the place to go.
Look at that logo. Bam, baby.
Mira,
Advanced Auto Parts. Esteban está carajo with technology, brother. That guy can do all kinds of magic.
He's putting that college degree to show you.
Okay. What else we got?
And then we like to do and then we have a special thanks to some veterans. Chris Sanchez, he listens in. Thank you for your service, hermano. And Ray Martinez, he's a Marine vet. He's a good guy. I've known him for a long time. I just want to say a shout out to him. So I always try and pick a vet or two that we actually know in person. So thank you guys. We want to do an Azul Gracias. This is kind of a blue collar thank you to people who do jobs that, you know, we just take for granted in a lot of cases. this one today's isn't so much that they don't get recognized when they get to work, but because of COVID, their jobs have been kind of taken out from them or taken away from them. So we got performers this time. A huge shout out to our local musicians, our comedians, our actors, and behind the scene workers that make our city the city different. You know, I got a chance to work with Carlos Medina recently, and all the venues that he performed at are gone right now. They're closed down. So the source of revenue is gone for them. And for you and I, it's hard to maybe understand. A lot of people listening out there are still working from home, but it's hard to have a concert from home.
That's right. And so you worked with Carlos. Were you like his stand-in, or look at were you or were you like his
No, I was
material
just
and he made
I'm
fun of you?
yeah, I'm a good source of material, man. He was able to come up with a lot in no time.
Very
So
good. Yeah.
saludos
Oh
to
yeah.
Carlos, appreciate you, brother. Let's see who else we got. Now we'll do some saludes, bro. Who are you gonna do a shout out to?
Well, of course, I want to say hi to and he's kind of like loves music. Michael Waterman listens to us all the time.
Hey, go Dodgers.
Robert Chicken Montoya, a good man as well, and his wife Patsy, they listen to us, and of course our faithful Raul Gallegos and Mary, and we got of course Benny and Evelyn Zamora, Ron and Angela Chavez, Lee Garcia Tires, and our buddy Ranger from the new Old Trail Garage. Is that the correct way?
Boy, now you finally got it, man.
Well, you're the rusty nut. It
Danger.
takes a while for me to learn, brother. You know, I don't have all that rust around my body and around my mind and around my hands.
You finally learned. Danger lurks where Ranger works. I gotta say a lot to my primo Rey Herrera. That dude knows everything about Santa. My primo Adan Espinosa. Prayers out to his mom and his familia. Cubo to Joseph Giron. He's a listener. I worked on his vehicle last week. Silver Ortega and his familia. Worked on their vehicles recently. And Mr. Montoya, you missed over at Alignment Services.
Herman, yeah. I mean, not Herman. Hirsch, right. What was it? Herson Montoya.
Get it right, bro. Don't go around giving.
Well, can you see all these canas on my hair? I'm getting old, brother.
And I gotta say hi to my mom and my wife and my daughters, everybody.
There you go. Good man.
Right on. And then now since we're not gonna take a break, we could go into a Spanglish lesson una vez.
Vamos.
A ver si lo jala la Norma. ¡Norma!
Let's do it.
¿Dónde estás?
¿Dónde está Santa Claus? Hey, tell me what that bucket is right there behind you.
What? That one?
That one right there, yeah. What is that?
That's the barrel we use to collect food for the food depot every day.
Every day, huh?
So
how does it work? People go in and just drop off food, or what is that? How does it work?
Sometimes, but most of all, what we do is we perform a courtesy inspection for clients on their vehicle in exchange for one grocery bag of non-perishable food.
I love it. Very good.
We fill that barrel once a week on average. We've done anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 pounds a year doing that. So now that you got a sidetracked, we'll go back to Norma.
Vamos, Norma. Buenos días, Dios.
Buenos días, esperemos que todos se encuentren bien. Un saludo a toda la gente bonita de Nuevo México.
Amén, gracias a Dios. Bueno, la palabra de hoy.
English lesson, we're going to be talking again, we're kind of revisit one of the topics we've mentioned before. We're going to talk about timing belts today, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth with today's sentence.
Okay, so it's going to be tensioner, okay? Tensor. El tensor de la banda del tiempo necesita ser reemplazado, necesita cambiarse.
Tienes que cambiar el tensor de la banda de qué?
Del tiempo.
Del tiempo.
Ajá.
Y luego, ¿cómo se dice? Tienes que poner un tendor alrededor del waist del Gabriel.
Tiene que poner un cinturón mejor.
Sí, un cinturón.
Sí, okay.
Bueno.
So the timing belt tensioner needs to be replaced, okay?
Got it.
Okay, bueno,
Thank you, Norma.
Bien, hasta
Dios
luego.
bendiga.
Bye.
God bless you.
Did you get it?
Go. I got it.
All right, well, let's get started then on the nuts and bolts of the Rusty Nut Show.
Hijo, vamos.
Start off with kind of a display here. So this is designed to be kind of a show and tell piece that we can use to teach customers exactly about what we're talking about today, timing belts. This is a tabletop version rather than going out in the garage and tearing apart an engine or being out there where it's noisy. This is an easier way for me to help you understand what we're going to be talking about today, Patricio.
So that right there is the time, kind of what the timing belt and what it looks like on your
Yep.
engine.
There you go. And this picture here kind of shows a breakaway of what a timing belt is and what it does. So, you can ask me to go back to this if you have questions as we go, okay?
Oh, I have profound questions. You know what I mean?
I know that you found some, but let's see if they're pro or not.
Oh, they
So
are.
we're going to talk about, so in 1959, the Pontiac Slant 6 was the first mass-produced vehicle to use an overhead camshaft engine with a timing belt. So 1959 is as far back as a mass-produced vehicle was available for purchase in the United States that had a timing belt. A timing belt in an internal combustion engine, the application of the timing belt, or in some cars, timing chains, it connects the crankshaft and the camshaft, which keeps them in time. So back to that picture, we want to keep the relationship of when the pistons move up and down and the valves open and close, we're going to keep that in time. That's where it gets its name from. You follow?
I'm listening. What did they use before 1959?
Oh, primarily is going to be chains, timing chains.
Timing chains,
So
okay.
they're similar to a bicycle chain instead. They're noisier, they're heavier, and they require lubrication, which is opportunity for leaks that don't exist with timing belts. And remember, we've talked about this, Patricia. One of the main reasons the automotive industry goes to lighter or less weight is to improve what?
Gas mileage.
Fuel economy. You got it. And that's so by making a timing set even a pound lighter across a fleet can make a big difference overall for that fleet's ability to maintain lower fuel economy.
Maybe I had to drop a few pounds to get better fuel economy on my car.
Yeah, maybe if you walk a few miles, you'll be able to
do
not
that,
only
okay.
lose some weight and you'll get better gas mileage. Timing belts, they must be replaced at a manufactured recommended interval. So, for example, a lot of people listening out there might be, well, how do I know, when I went for an oil change, did they check my timing belt? You will not get your timing belt inspected by any professional entity during a normal service. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but why can't they check it?
For a lot of reasons, and I'm glad you asked that because we're going to go over that. So
Profound question, baby.
Let's get back to the sentence I mentioned.
Okay.
See how thick this book is?
Yep.
It's like a Biblia. It's like a Bible.
Okay.
And what it says on it is timing belts. Let's see if I can give you a picture.
I got it. Yep. Beautiful.
So basically, the purpose of that book is for professional entities like ours to be able to look up specific vehicles by year, make, and engine size, models, and be able to confirm if it has a timing belt, when it should be replaced, and how to do it in some cases. So this book is very valuable to me. I don't suggest that car owners buy a book like this, but I wanted to use this book for you to be able to tell the listeners that this thing is a couple inches thick as far as how much content it has and how many different vehicles have timing belts on the road today.
Very good. I'm learning.
And then we're going to talk about timing belts as far as when you said why they can't check them. One of the reasons you can't check a timing belt is going to be it wasn't designed to be serviced very often. So most of them have at least a service life of 60,000 miles, some of them up to 105,000 miles. And most of them are covered by an engine cover. They're protected. They have a housing that's bolted up. So in order to get access to the belt, you have to disassemble part of the engine just to see it. So here's an example of an actual timing belt. So what does it have on it?
Like traction, like tread or something.
They're like teeth.
Okay.
Each individual, they have probably like 3 or 4 teeth every inch, maybe. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see this belt right here. See how it's broken?
Yep.
All right. The same belt that's broken, you can still see the writing on it. Follow?
Got it. Yes,
So
sir.
if someone would have inspected this belt, it didn't look that bad. It didn't look that worn out. You can still read the manufacturer's name on the belt, you could still read the part number. So it failed right about 5,000 miles past when it was supposed to. It belonged to a teacher over at Capshot at the time in a little Accord. And she didn't do it when she was supposed to, and it got towed in here, and the belt snapped. Follow?
Yes, sir.
So it lasted up to what it was expected to, but then it broke. Go ahead.
Can you go back to that picture of the belt with the pulleys?
The picture?
No, the other one, the next one.
Okay.
The one you have on your counter.
Carlos showed up.
Mira, Carlos, cool. That one right there. So is that belt right there? Can we physically see that on the outside of the engine, or is that inside your engine where you can't?
Hang on 1 second. Let me go. Let's go. So now we're getting some work done in there, and I missed part of that question, Patricia. I'm sorry.
So the belt that you were showing right there, is that the belt we see outside? Is that like a serpentine belt, or is that
no? The one
belt?
I'm showing you is an actual timing belt that would be behind the engine cover.
So it's inside the engine.
Basically behind the covers, anyway.
Yeah, and that's why you guys you guys can't really check it to see whether it needs to be replaced. That's why we need to heed the wisdom of the manufacturer.
Way, hombre. Now you're getting it.
Or the professional.
So, what I like to use this belt that I showed you that broke. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I'm in the wind now.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So I like people to see this broken belt so that they can realize that inspecting a belt that you can still see doesn't appear to be worn out, they could have easily given the customer a false sense of confidence that the belt was okay, even though it was past due on mileage.
Okay, can you go into the garage, maybe?
Okay, let me come back in here. And now,
much better.
I'm going to show you a belt that it's going to be hard on this picture, but basically I can get Carlos to validate. Carlos, is that all cracked and ugly?
Oh, that's horrible.
Terrible.
It looks like my Grandpa Pitacio's belt.
Hey,
you hear that?
Is that holding up Carlos's pants?
These are suspenders, bro.
Oh, suspenders. Hijo.
Anyway,
okay.
This belt has enough cracks in it, and this car drove in. So this belt should have failed, but it didn't. And that's why I try and teach people that visually inspecting a belt won't always give you the accurate results that you think a belt inspection would. Follow?
I got it.
Ándale.
I have a question.
Go ahead, shoot.
And I think it was in another show, and that just shows that I do listen to wisdom. I listen to Rusty Nut. You know what I mean? You had mentioned something about like when a vehicle is hard to start, that could be, and maybe I was thinking about a different issue, kind of hard to turn over. That could be an issue with the belt, or no?
Once it fails, it won't start. That's
right.
For sure.
But not necessarily. It's hard to gauge the timing belt when you crank it over.
You normally don't get any warning with a bad timing belt. So basically, once it breaks, you're stranded.
Okay.
And worse is, like this picture kind of tries to show, is the relationship between the piston and the valve.
Right.
Has to be in time. So this is, let's see, this camera, I'm getting used to it.
Yep.
See, that's a valve, but you can see it's bent because this vehicle suffered a broken timing belt. Let's see if I go up against my shirt, maybe.
No, I could see it the way you had it. It was perfect.
So
there you go. Está más tuerco que mi nariz.
We go from, yeah, there's no doubt. That's crooker than Lopez Lane. Anyway, so that customer ended up not only having to buy a timing belt that they already needed, but then they had to turn into major surgery. The cylinder head had to come off the engine. The valves had to be replaced. And you get a car with 100,000+ miles and you give it a major surgery like that, that's not that much different than you taking your grandpa in and getting him a surgery. You worry about complications after the fact. So engines
oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So we have about 3 minutes left. So what happens? One, why is it so important to change your timing belt at the recommended time that they recommend? And then two, what can happen to your vehicle should you be driving and your timing belt break?
So essentially, you know, the whole point of being proactive on the timing belt is to avoid obviously being stranded. There's nothing safe about being stranded on the side of the road, so it's a safety hazard for sure. And the other is going to be taking on larger expenses that were avoidable by being proactive, kind of letting that cavity go into a root canal. So trying to deal with it proactively. So timing belts wear out, don't wait till it breaks. So to answer your question, when it breaks, you're stranded. And on a lot of engines, you're looking at a major engine repair, which may, for some clients, may total the car. Meaning, you know, again, this show targets 12-year-old cars. You get a car with 200,000 miles, it's on its second timing belt. They let it fail. They went from a perfectly usable tool to get to work to now deciding, do they buy a cylinder head, do they buy an engine, or do they buy a car?
Now, and I know you can't give like a direct amount or specific amount, but what, and because I think all cars are different probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what more or less, do you know what an average cost is more or less to replace the timing belt? Or
I'm glad that you asked. So timing belts can range from as low as $200 or $300 for just the belt replacement, and they can get into the 2,000 plus range if somebody's doing it very thorough with cam seals and crank seals and all kinds of things that go along with it.
so would you recommend that they do everything, since they have the engine open, replace everything?
I do recommend that they get an estimate for doing it thoroughly, at least to start. So what I mean by that is you don't want to be the consumer that goes in with a coupon for a $300 timing belt and then get a phone call that they recommend another $1,000 worth of stuff and you can't afford it. And now the engine's open. You don't want to be at the dentist and say, hey, are you going to authorize this or not? We've already got your tooth hanging out. So you want to have an estimate. What's the best job that you can do for me? What's the highest price timing belt service that your shop offers so that they're prepared for it? And in most cases, it's going to be in their best interest to buy it thoroughly, correctly the first time.
Very good. Anything else before we got to go, brother?
Well, we always like to talk about the ruin it yourselfers. And one of those things is going to be, you know, doing exactly that. If you're going to try and do your family member or friend, or maybe you just don't believe in doing it thorough, or you don't have the background, doing just the belt leaves a wide open area for your friend or your customer to be paying for that job again and again, because that timing belt doesn't just cover the timing belt. We're dealing with the water pump. We're dealing with idler pulleys. We're dealing with tensioners, many pieces that run off of that when they fail, the job has to be completely done over again.
I love it. Very good. Very good. What a great show. Great information. We want to thank Advanced Auto Parts. Good people out there. Why don't you throw out a few names from Advanced Auto Parts, Gabe?
We got Karen over there. We got Steven. We got some drivers like Edward. They're working hard every day to keep Santa Fe rolling.
I love it. And of course, I want to throw a plug in for Gabe and the Auto Angel. I know he doesn't like for me to do that, but listen, if you don't, the great thing about the Auto Angel is they're honest. They say the truth. They'll tell you exactly what's the matter. And this is what I love to say about the Auto Angel. You get what you pay for. They're going to tell you exactly the problem with your car, and then you have a choice as to whether to do it or not, but they're going to be honest. They've been there. Like the show is called The Rusty Nut Show. Gabriel Garcia, the Rusty Nut. I saw otro tuerco, another Rusty Nut. El Carlos Medina.
Si anda tornillo mojoso, hey. And then there might be a mocoso around. I don't know. We'll look for one. We'll see if we find him.
We were talking about Carlos earlier. That guy would do anything to get in front of the camera. Que bárbaro. Hey, Carlos, if you want to get in the camera, if you want to get in the camera more, llama Esteban. That guy is a whiz at technology, brother. He can have you por donde quiera.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, God bless you guys.
God bless you.
Thank you, hermano.
You guys have been listening to the Rusty Nut Show right here on 99.9 FM, M810, heard every Tuesday at 10:30. We want to thank the Rusty Nut himself, Gabriel Garcia of the Auto Angel.
Hi, Mom.